Mike Damergis here with Dr. K, Doc Gooden. It's hard to believe, Dwight, it's been 16 years since you had that no-hitter on May 14th in 1996.
Yeah, it was a great day, and anytime a date comes up or close to it, and especially the month of May, brings back good memories. And I'm talking about it with the fans or my family, and just reminisce on the whole day and what it was like. And doing it here in New York was just a tremendous feeling.
Talk about coming to the Yankees. This was really your second chance at coming back into baseball, and talk about the conversation you had with George Steinbrenner and joining Pinstripes.
I tell you what, George, being that George was from Tampa, and I thought Seattle knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs in '95. My suspension was lifted. I remember meeting with George in a restaurant down in Tampa, and at the time when they set up the meeting, I said, "Wow, this is great. The Yankees want me there," because at that time the Mets wanted to cut ties. So when I met with George at the restaurant, basically just wanted to know what I was doing for the year that I had off, house and family. We talked for probably 2 hours and had dinner. He never brought up baseball with me joining the Yankees. So when the night was over, I was just thinking maybe he just wanted to meet. And then the next day he called me and said, "Hey, you like to be a Yankee?" Before we even talked, contract, I said, "Sure." He said, "Well, come over to my office tomorrow morning." So I came over there, and he said, "What are you looking for?" I kind of told him. He said, "Well, I can do this, I can't do that." So it worked out, a great deal, and I became a Yankee, which at the beginning felt kind of strange because playing with the Mets for all those years, I kind of hated the Yankees, not personally, but just two teams been in the same city, and so. Once I joined the Yankees, instantly I felt like I was a Yankee, and at that time he said, "Just go out, play hard, and stay out of trouble." And I was just very thankful for the opportunity he gave me to jumpstart my career in New York.
It had to be a surreal experience for you and Darryl Strawberry, both being on the Yankees at that time. You and him were at least old-time Met buddies, and the same when you came to Pinstripes.
Definitely, it was great. It was kind of strange at the beginning, and then when Darryl joined me, like you would have thought, especially in the early '80s, that both of us would be, Mets for a long, long time, but it didn't work out that way. But we both got to jumpstart our careers in New York and doing it with the Yankees, and winning the World Series our first year with the Yankees made it even that much special. Back
in 1984, we heard about this young name, Doc Gooden, coming up, 19 years old, from Tampa, Florida. Your first start against the Astros, you won 3-2. You got your first win. Take us back to being 19 years old and playing for the New York Mets.
That was basically a dream come true. Since I was a young kid, I used to follow my dad around a lot. At that time, Cincinnati Reds had spring training in Tampa, where I'm originally from, and so I went to a lot of the games. And it sounds like 3 years old. I loved baseball because I followed my dad around. And then once I got drafted by the Mets, and then obviously in '84 I made the team. I had my first start. I had my dad and my mom there. Never been so nervous in my life. It's like a dream come true. Now facing guys that I analyzed just a couple years ago, removed from high school. And so it was just a tremendous feeling, and it probably took me until the All-Star break of '84 to understand and believe that I actually belonged there.
Did you know in 1984 this was the start of something special for you guys?
Probably once we got towards the end, we was battling with the Cubs, who had a good team that year in '84. We came real close, we finished second, and then the next year, in '85, we added Gary Carter to the team, which was a perfect fit because we had a young pitching staff. But we won 100 games and fell a little short to the Cardinals, but we knew we was on to something great at that time. We had good chemistry, good guys in the clubhouse, and good leadership with Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter. Our pitchers were still developing and getting experience, so we knew we had a good shot. So when we came into spring training in '86, we only had one goal, and that was to win it all, and fortunately it came true.
In 1985, going 24-4 with a 1.53 ERA, one of the greatest performances in the modern era of baseball.
Thank you. '85 was just one of those years where you felt like every game you was locked in, and even though I only pitched once every 5th day, but that 5th day, I just felt like that was my day. And no disrespect to the other team, but once we got a couple runs, I just felt like it was over. And I actually, at some time, I would root for our team to make outs because I wanted to be out on the mound, especially if it was in New York.
And talk about that team in 1985, a real mix of players, Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, who just passed away, Darryl Strawberry in the outfield. It was a real mix of different kind of players.
Well, it was. And I think it was a good mixture of, like you mentioned, like we had some veteran guys, we had a young team, good core guys hold each other accountable. And at the time, in playing New York, it was a Pike House again at Shea, which they hadn't had in a while, at the beginning of '84. And Davey Johnson, the manager, was great dealing with personalities and just brought everybody together. And like I said, it was so many different personalities, but when we took the field, we all had that one common goal.
And of course, in 1986, you guys won 108 games. That was certainly a magical team.
Definitely, it was because, like I say, from spring training on, we wanted to go out, and our whole goal was to win the World Series and do whatever it took. And I remember we had like about, I think, 20 games to go in the season. We had already clinched the division, so we got to stay focused. And that Houston series, the playoffs get kind of lost because of the Buckner play, but that was a great playoff series as well. And then Boston been down in Game 6 is just destined for it to be our year.
And talk about that Houston series. It was a great performance by Mike Scott on the Astros end of things.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that year he was unbelievable. You know, had 300 strikeouts, 20-plus wins, he won the Cy Young, and that Game 6 in the playoffs was basically our Game 7 because we didn't want to face him the next day because he had our number and he was so far in our hitter's head that we didn't want no part of it.
And, of course, the 1986 World Series. Talk about being on the bench there, and you had 108 wins. You got to the World Series, and now you're down to your final at-bat there. That had to be a little depleting, and did you ever think you guys were going to come back?
Honestly, I know players are taught to say it's never over till it's over, but at that time, you know, especially when you're down, you know, a couple runs and there's 2 outs, nobody on base, you kind of feel like, man, we come this close, and it's all winding down like this. And then we started just chipping away, you know, hit after hit, and then a wild pitch, and then unfortunately a bucket in play. And even Game 7 was down by 3 runs, but early. But after what happened in Game 6, we knew it was just a matter of time we was going to win that game as well. But Game 6 was just like the icing of what our season was supposed to be like.
You know, the 1986 team was such a dynamic team, such a great team, 108 wins. It's hard to believe that team only won 1 World Series. What was the reason that the team never won more than 1 World Series?
It's really tough to say. In my opinion, I know after 86, 87, we had some injuries to the pitching staff. They had to go to rehab in 87 as well. 88, you know, we beat the Dodgers 9 out of 10 times regular season. The playoff, Hershiser, you know, it was hot at the right time as well as Kirk Gibson. And it fell a little short. And then after that, they just broke the team up, want to go to different core guys because the team started getting a bad rap for his pardon and so on. But it was no better group of guys and guys that came prepared to play. But once they did that, we brought in some good name guys, but you got to be mentally tough to play in New York. And I just think the mix was never the same after that.
Dwight, you're now in your late 40s right now. What would Dwight Gooden at 47, 48 years old tell Dwight Gooden at 19 years old?
I think the main thing, enjoy life, enjoy your career. If anything bothers you, anything going on in your life, reach out for help, talk to someone, and know that you don't have to do it alone.
Dwight Gooden here with Mike Damergis here at Last Licks in Steiner Sports.